Thank you, Premier, and good morning. Yeah, it's fair to say you can't gloss over the risk that exists for those vulnerable individuals. They'll need to manage their circumstances individually, but the risk is there. So if you're over 70, if you're over 65 with a chronic condition or Indigenous and over 50, you are at greater risk of more severe disease. Not at greater risk of catching it, but at greater risk of going to intensive care, being hospitalised or dying. And so you have to make personal judgments based on that inherent risk. I think there are some ways to manage it. There are always circumstances where you can try and keep that 1.5 metre distance. That'll be something that all of those at-risk groups need to be particularly mindful of. They need to be checking in with those who are visiting and those who are around them that no one is there with illness. And they need to make sure that they try and, if they're going to gather in groups, they try and do it with people they're normally resident with or that they're normally seeing routinely, because they won't be introducing new people into their group of close contacts. So in a community sports setting, there'll be directions obviously to the gathering sizes, and when it starts to take place, I think those who are most at risk just need to bear that in mind, how they can manage it for themselves, whether they stay in a car to watch, whether they stay apart from others. But it's a personal choice in lots of ways, but you can't gloss over the risk that's there for them.
When you talk about returning to work, I think the Premier mentions that they return things to be reassessed. Is there a possibility that some of these working structures just won't be tenable for the foreseeable future?
Oh, I think it goes beyond what's tenable or untenable. I think there are some clear revelations that people have had about the advantages of work from home and the way that people have been facilitated to do that. So I think there'll be some business choices that are made simply on the basis that it's a better business model for those institutions. But some of it might be for public health benefit ongoing, absolutely. If we can reduce the numbers who are mixing in those shared areas, the kitchens, the lobbies, the lifts, that's a good thing, because the risk is going to be there for as long as the virus is around. So I think it's a worthy consideration for every business to go through. How can I enable through IT, through really active policy that enables work from home to do so? Because I think there are some people who've struggled with it. There are some others who would say, I don't want to go back to on-site working.
There's a few things like amusement parks, museum galleries, 20 people per space. What do you define as that?
There's some of the details that will need to be worked through with the industries as we go forward, but it's largely about a single undivided space where you can manage the flow in and out. So some of those will just need to be managed as individual spaces, but the details of that and exactly how it'll be managed will need to be talked through over the next couple of weeks.
Thank you. Is this 50 people at stadiums? Does that mean we can have crowds, very small crowds?
Look, I don't know what the 50 will come to when you consider all of the staff who need to be there. I'm not sure it's an equitable solution to open up to crowds of 50 for sport. I think it'll be something to be watching online or on telly for a while yet. Look, the family have been really clear about not providing any details that might identify that person, so we're really respecting the privacy and the specific requests of the family in that regard.
Sure.